Well, you guys look a lot different from way up here. It's the first time I've been up here, so I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to talk about Jay. Jay has a fundraiser tonight, and of course, in this race, that's going to be very important, being able to get out our message. There's 43 days left, as Senator Hill mentioned. Now, we know 43 days can be very powerful, especially considering the fact that we've been told that there was a flood that covered the entire world in just less than 40 days. Well, what we need in Duval County is a flood of Democrats. Jay McGovern is someone that you hopefully had an opportunity to meet now. If you haven't had an opportunity to meet him, you can simply come by the headquarters. Our headquarters are actually co-headquartered with the DEC, so we get the double effect of you being able to come in and get your Barack Obama signs and being able to meet your next congressman. So make sure you stop by and check that out. You'll also notice our signs have the union bug on them. That's very important. It's extremely important because of all of the help that we've gotten from the union. So I just want to take a second to go ahead and thank you, the unions, for your financial support to make sure that we have the representation we need in the 4th Congressional District. If I can for just a minute mention, when we were in Denver, we had a great opportunity. There was a speaker that brought up some great points. He says, you want to make sure Americans have jobs? Give them a union card. You want to make sure Americans have health care? Give them a union card. You want to make sure Americans have time off for work for their sick kids? Give them a union card. We've also had great support from DWIN, and so I want to thank all of the members of the Democratic Women's Information Network. If you're not a member, you need to join up. They're doing great stuff in Duval. Also, the Beaches Democratic Club has been very supportive. We've had people out working in the neighborhoods to talk about Jay McGovern. Even when we didn't have things to give them, they were out there working in the neighborhoods telling people about Jay McGovern. And so I want to thank you from the Beaches Democratic Club for all your hard work. And finally, of course, the Democratic Executive Committee. We've got great leadership in the Democratic Executive Committee, and that's helped out, especially giving us the opportunity to be able to work so closely with them. We're talking about running against someone who shouldn't need to be demarketed. In other words, we shouldn't have to explain to people why Andrew has not done his job. It's pretty obvious. Andrew Crenshaw came in with Bush, he can leave with Bush. In the 8 years that Andrew Crenshaw, well, 7 3/4, the 7 3/4 years that Andrew Crenshaw has been in Congress, he's introduced two bills. One of those bills was to congratulate Tim Tebow. Now, for all you Gators fans out there, that's fine. That's important work for our U.S. Congress, but not when our houses are being foreclosed on. Not when the price of gas goes from $1.40 a gallon to upwards of $4 a gallon in his oversight. Not when our national debt has gone as high as it has, leaving a burden for my generation and the next. Andrew Crenshaw is lazy, he's a spendaholic, and finally he puts Wall Street in front of military families and working class families. And we've seen that. We've seen that. We've seen how Wall Street has gotten everything it's wanted from this administration and its cronies. But when our families are suffering, when people have to choose medicine over food, something's wrong. Jay McGovern is a 47-year-old Navy captain. He serves in the reserve. He was called in twice since 9/11. He's had 3 commands. He's just been given his 4th. He's a Naval Academy graduate with a bachelor's in marine engineering, master's in aeronautical engineering. He's a helicopter pilot. He's an Iraq War vet. He's a professional engineer. He has a patent on a plastics recycling process. He's the owner of Florida Equestrian, a horse farm on the west side. He's a general contractor. He was the 2-term chairman of RAP and the founding chairman of Rado. He makes his own biodiesel, and he walks on water. Okay, maybe he doesn't walk on water. But when we beat Andrew Crenshaw, they'll think he walks on water. We need Republicans to vote for Jay. That's the bottom line. We need to let your neighbors know. We need to let your friends know. We need to let your workmates know that they don't have to go another 2 years not being represented in the 4th Congressional District. They don't have to go another 2 years for when they ask for feedback from their congressman, they get nothing. Unresponsiveness. That's what we've gotten from Andrew Crenshaw in the last 8 years he's represented North Florida. Well, I guess you can't really call it representing North Florida. But the last 4 years that he's warmed that seat, the last 8 years he's warmed that seat, he has done nothing to make sure that this place is taken care of. And it's time to put someone there who not only can, but knows how to. Jay McGovern knows leadership, and he knows that he's going to have to take our values of common sense, community, and hard work to Washington. He's going to have to take those values and represent us to fix and provide solutions for the problems we have. JayForCongress.com is Jay's website. If you haven't been already, I encourage you to go. There at the top is the most important thing that you can do. Now I know the times are tight, they're tight for all of us. But right now, Jay McGovern needs to get his message out to as many voters in North Florida as possible. Tomorrow, Jay McGovern will be shooting his commercial for U.S. Congress. It'll be the first time we've had a commercial for someone who's run for U.S. Congress in almost 8 years in the 4th Congressional District. ActBlue.com is a place where you can go and you can actually create your own fundraising page for Jay McGovern. People don't give unless they know the candidate. And it's going to be very hard for Jay to go out and meet all of the 485,000 people he needs to meet. But you know these people, and you have friends, and they trust your opinion and your judgment. You can do a lot to make sure that Jay McGovern is able to communicate that message of change to your neighbors and able to communicate it to your friends. Finally, Senator Hill said something that I kind of have to bite off of. He says, if you want change, let me try that again. If you want change, don't choose McCain. But if you want something new, then you know what to do. Finally, as a way of mention, Tom Collins is putting on an event that will be inviting you to join Jay's Navy. This is going to be posted on our website the next day, and it invites you out Thursday, October 2nd, 6 to 8, to the Casa Marina Hotel and Restaurant to join us to talk to Jay about what you think the problems in North Florida are, so that he can take your solutions to Washington and fight for you. Thank you.